Hello, I'm Molly, and this is Care Experts, brought to you by CareCredit and Pets Best. Together, the CareCredit credit card and Pets Best pet health insurance provide financial tools that can help you be the best pet parent you can be. Today, we are going to be talking about a topic that a lot of cat owners have questions about, which is your cat's food. What's good, what's bad, how much? So today we have Dr. Chris Roth joining us, who's going to be sharing with us some information as a veterinarian on our cat's food. Hi, Dr. Roth.
Hi there. Thanks for having me today.
We want to just know a little bit about you, your veterinary practices, your history, your education, and why it is you do what you do.
As far as I can remember, I asked my mom, do you remember when I first said I wanted to be a veterinarian? And she said, no, I just think you always did. So I went to Kansas State University, graduated in 1990, and promptly moved to Wyoming, worked in a mixed animal practice there and owned that practice for 12 years. And then I moved to Colorado and I owned pretty much exclusively small animal veterinary hospital there as well. And then after 17 years of 24/7, 365, I decided to move to Idaho and joined a practice here where I was just an associate veterinarian. I didn't own any part of the practice, so that was nice. And so, yeah, that's pretty much my background. So 28 years.
That's incredible. Wow. Well, we're very grateful to have such a wonderful expert on the show with us. So thank you.
Thanks.
So let's get into it. There's a lot of cat food out there. We know there's kibble, raw, frozen, many different kinds. So can you tell us which one's best? How do they compare? And how you decide what you would feed an animal?
So I think it depends on the quality of the food, not necessarily what you're feeding as far as dry or canned or fresh or frozen. I think it's the ingredients and that you make sure that these diets are balanced and have all the nutrition that your pet needs. So a lot of pets won't eat dry or they won't eat canned. So it's kind of just making sure that it's the right nutritional content of the diet. That's the most important thing.
And just to get more specific on the foods that are out there, are there differences between kitten food, adult cat food, senior cat food? What are those differences between those different types?
Yeah, so there is a big difference between kitten food, adult food, and senior cat food. The kitten food is higher in certain vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to account for their growing bones, their growing bodies, and their growing brains. And then when you go to the adult cat food, adults are typically pretty active, and so there's a lot more protein, some carbohydrate in that. And then seniors, cats tend to sleep more and they're less active, so they need less protein, less carbohydrates. We do concentrate maybe a little more on fat on those guys because they tend to lose weight as they get older. So, yeah, just different nutrient levels for their ages.
That's great. So you mentioned some of the ingredients in our cat food, but a lot of people would ask the question, what is in our cat food? What is it?
It's all different things. It depends what brand you get. I mean, we discussed fresh frozen, we discussed kibble, canned food. Canned food is basically dry food with water added. And then the fresh frozen food is just what it says, food that has not been processed. It's actually, the food is made, put together, frozen, so there's no preservatives in it.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, as humans, we take a lot of care to look at what's in our food, the additives, what else is happening in our food. What should we be looking for in our cat's food as far as something to avoid, or are there any ingredients that we should be searching for our cats?
Pet food labels are notoriously very hard to read, even for me as a veterinarian. I would tell my clients, I don't even pretend like I can go out and read all the labels on all the food. So I picked some of the higher, stick with the higher quality brands and the upper end of the brands, the higher quality of the brands, and you'll be pretty safe. Every um, cat food is pretty much nutritionally balanced. They have to be nutritionally balanced for the age range that they say on the label.
That's great. That makes a lot of sense as well. Well, speaking of food, we all as pet parents try to be the best we can be for our animals. Um, are there any human foods that cats should not eat that are a big no-no? Can they eat human food? What's your opinion on that?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, everything in moderation, right? If they have a little snack of your food, I mean, we bought our pets to spoil them, so let's do it. Um, but yeah, certain cats that maybe have certain diseases should stay away from certain foods. For instance, cats with urinary issues should stay away from tuna, extra salt, things like that.
So prescription diets, for example, why would my cat need a prescription diet? Do those work well for cats?
Absolutely, they're fantastic and just getting better and better all the time. And more companies are producing prescription diets. So basically, if your cat has a certain disease, you may have to feed a prescription diet, and it will just be lack of something in the food. They'll take it out so that the cat doesn't get it, or maybe something extra that the cat might need. They'll add that in in excess in the diet.
Do you have any examples of types of issues that might require a prescription diet?
Oh, they make cat foods for cats that have allergies, urinary issues, kidney issues, heart issues. They even have now they have behavioral diets that are high in omegas that help the brain and relax the cat. So yeah, pretty much most diseases out there have a diet that will help.
As a veterinarian, how often do you recommend that cats be eating and drinking throughout the day?
Well, ideally, unless your cat is extremely overweight, I would I just leave the cat food out. That's the way they do it in nature. They just snack along as they find food. Um, and so, yeah, I just say leave it out. Certainly, if your cat's overweight, then you might have to go on a feeding schedule 2 or 3 times a day, a specific amount. As far as water, fresh water all the time.
Out of curiosity, does my cat get bored from eating the same thing every day? Do I need to change it up to make it more exciting for them?
No, not necessarily. Cats can smell and taste much more than we can. So they get little bits out of each bite of food, so differently than we do. As far as changing it up, you certainly can. Not a big recommendation of mine. You can actually cause upset stomach, diarrhea, things like that if you change it up too often and too quick.
So you're saying it might be better to keep it consistent with your cats for their gut health versus changing it up for excitement.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. This has been some incredible advice and information on cat food, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you, Dr. Roth.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
More episodes of Care Experts can be found at carecredit.com/careexperts. Remember, your CareCredit credit card is accepted at hundreds of thousands of provider locations nationwide. To get more information on how the Pets Best pet insurance can cover up to 90% of your pet's unexpected veterinary expenses, visit petsbest.com. Or for more information on the CareCredit credit card, go to carecredit.com.
Thanks for joining us on Care Experts with CareCredit. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with friends and family. And stay tuned for new episodes every week. All information, opinions, and recommendations discussed in this episode are for your information only. We believe the information sources are generally reliable, but because of possible human or mechanical error by the sources, Synchrony or its affiliates, including CareCredit, does not provide warranty to the accuracy, quality, or completeness of the information or any results obtained from it. Any statement or opinions in this episode are the doctor's alone, and included data was current to the time of creating this episode. Please consult your own advisors before using any of this information. Pet insurance coverage offered and administered by Pets Best Insurance Services, LLC, is underwritten by American Pet Insurance Company, a New York insurance company headquartered at 6100 4th Avenue South, Suite 200, Seattle, Washington, 98108. Or Independence American Insurance Company, a Delaware insurance company located at 11333 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 160, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85254. Pets Best Insurance Services, LLC, California agency number 0F37530, is a licensed insurance agency located at 10840 Ballantyne Commons Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina 28277. Each insurer has sole financial responsibility for its own products. Please refer to your declarations page to determine the underwriter for your policy. Terms and conditions apply. See your policy for details.